Breaking news. Apparently, the honorable, the respectable, the respected, the brilliant. Apparently, Bill Clinton has now refused to, how to put this, testify in congressional Epstein probe. So basically, Clinton's just saying, I want nothing to do with this. I'm not going to testify. I'm staying out of this because clearly I'm not involved. There's just pictures of me everywhere, and I'm in hot tubs with little girls and stuff like that. Oh boy, yeah. Let's get into this. I'm thinking Bill Clinton was maybe a little too involved, had his nose a little too deep in all the kitty litter.
Now, Hillary Clinton's supposed to show up tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. But with respect to the former president, he did not show up today. We will move next week in the House Oversight Committee markup to hold former President Clinton in contempt of Congress.
Contempt proceedings against a former president.
Ooh. I mean, did we expect anything different than that, though? Did we actually expect someone like Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton to actually show up and testify regarding these Epstein files? Hell no. No, absolutely not. I never even once thought he was going to, but now it's actually a big deal because it's actually happening. Kind of crazy. I mean, it's almost as if we elect terrible people to positions of power here in the United States. It's shocking, right? Did you know that we did that? I wasn't aware. Wow.
Now, Bill Clinton was scheduled to sit down with the House Oversight Committee today as part of its Jeffrey Epstein investigation. That's certainly what the committee wanted. CNN's Annie Greer is on Capitol Hill. Annie, this is an extraordinary moment that I'm sure will lead to several more extraordinary moments in the coming.
What extraordinary moments is she talking about? This is just ridiculous. Nothing extraordinary about it. First of all, it's not surprising. Second of all, it's not surprising. Third of all, we're going to see more of this. I mean, I bet half of the freaking people in positions of power, especially in politics, have personalities just like Bill Clinton. Look, we have this whole thing going in the United States. It's pretty amazing. We're always so shocked when our political leaders turn out to just not be great people. It's hilarious. Like, all of the incentives to get into positions of power, all the incentives are like, do you want money, power, and fame? Okay, get into politics. And we wonder when our politics incentivizes those people to run for positions of power. It's just shocking, right? I don't know. What's more shocking is that we just keep on doing the same old here in the United States and expecting different results, if I'm being honest with you. That's what's shocking to me.
Week or two. But what we just saw from the chairman is precisely what was predicted in a very lengthy, very hot statement that the former president and his wife, the former Secretary of State and First Lady, just released a letter.
Hillary Clinton, by the way, y'all. The name was not spoken. She's like freaking Voldemort or something over there on CNN, but Hillary Clinton, that's who they're talking about.
To James Comer. Explain.
So, Dana, what we're headed towards next is potentially lengthy and even unprecedented legal battle now that Comer has announced that he's going to move forward with contempt proceedings against both Bill and Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary has one more option for her deposition date tomorrow, but from the letter that Bill and Hillary Clinton sent to Comer directly this morning, they lay out exactly why they are not planning to appear for their depositions. And this is after months of back and forth, Anna, between the Clintons' legal attorneys and the Oversight Committee.
Wait, hold on. I want to read this really fast. President and Secretary Clinton have already provided the limited information they possess about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell to the committee, proactively and voluntarily, and despite the fact that the subpoenas are invalid. Okay. Look, guys, Bill Clinton's just like always hanging out on Epstein Island. He's just flying in jets with them all the time, hanging out in hot tubs with every single girl that he has on the island, apparently. But he's just ignorant, blind. He doesn't know anything. No, nothing at all. Just hanging out with them all the time and knows absolutely nothing. I love this. I just love how these people are playing dumb too. Every single person that was associated with Jeffrey Epstein is like, oh, I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea the things he was doing. When in reality, let's be so serious about this. And this is just my assumption. I think the more powerful you were, the more connected you were, the more you probably knew. Look, it's just my spider sense is tingling here. Very powerful, intelligent, influential, connected people aren't usually left in the dark. They're not. They're really not. So, seeing as Bill Clinton was president and then former president and everything during all this time he was hanging out with Mr. Epstein, I'm not thinking that he was left in the dark. I'm thinking he knows a lot. I wish I knew what he knew. Maybe one day we'll get there. Maybe one day we'll actually find out what he knows. Probably not, honestly.
Back and forth, Anna, between the Clintons' legal attorneys and the oversight committee, where the Clintons have maintained that these subpoenas are not valid, that they are willing to provide written testimony, and that the committee has even granted this option of written testimony to at least 7 of the other witnesses that they've subpoenaed in this investigation. So why not grant them to the Clintons here? And in this letter that you mentioned that Bill and Hillary Clinton wrote to Comer, I want to read for you a piece of it that just shows the stakes that both the former president and First Lady and Secretary of State understand here. They say, quote, "Every person has to decide when they have seen or had enough and are ready to fight for this country, its principles, and its people, no matter the consequences. For us, now is that time."
Oh my God, that's just so lame. This dude's getting accused of, like, you know, shoving his face in the kitty litter, and he's now saying every person has to decide when they have seen or had enough and are ready to fight for this country, its principles, and its people, no matter the consequences. For us, now is that time. We must fight Donald Trump in this hour of need. Don't mind me over here just like all the little kids. It's just shameless. It's just shameless. He's like, I mean, how simple-minded does he think the American people are that they're just going to read this like, oh, he's right. He's right. We shouldn't care about the Epstein files at all. We shouldn't care about the people that were involved with all the terrible things that were happening on that island because, oh boy, Donald Trump and the Republicans are in power. And now is the time to fight for this country. Right now. No, he's got a point. There's a lot of things happening in this country that require our attention, but that doesn't detract from the fact that we deserve to know what happened on that island with this guy. And look, Trump too, if he was involved. I want to know what he was involved with too, but I want to know what this guy was involved with. This person, Trump, everyone. All of those elites that thought that they would never be, that thought that the sunlight would never be shown on the things that they were doing on that island. Ah, man. You know, this is like the biggest pedophilia scandal in American history. It's kind of wild. We're living through it. We're living through a lot of crazy things right now. We're living through a lot of crazy things. And we're just kind of like, we like don't even think about it. We just kind of like look past it, you know, don't even acknowledge it. Don't realize how serious it is or how crazy it is just because there's so much happening. I mean, yeah, we lived through COVID. That was crazy. January 6th. That was crazy. Donald Trump's entire presidency. Crazy. We had a senile guy in office for a while. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know who he was. Crazy. Kamala Harris ran for president. Freaking insane. This Jeffrey Epstein thing. Icing on the cake. We're like looking World War III in the face right now. AI is taking over everything. Crazy. We're just living through so many crazy things right now that I think that we're just like overheated. And so it's to the point now where we're just like, here's another thing happening, but this is getting insane. The current president and a former president, a ton of other incredibly influential, powerful, wealthy, connected people involved in this disgusting scandal. Crazy. It's all crazy. And don't overlook that. God, what a wild time we're living in. Terrible time, honestly, if I'm being real with you.
Now, Comer maintains he still has a lot of questions for the Clintons. He wants to know about Epstein's relationship with them, but Bill Clinton has never been accused of any wrongdoing, and we are now going to see how far House Republicans are going to take this.
Yeah, we sure will. Thank you so much, Annie. And back here.
I will say it's freaking annoying how House Republicans just push so hard to make Bill Clinton look terrible, Hillary Clinton look terrible for this whole Epstein thing, and then the Democrats are only pushing to make Trump look terrible. Like, guys, shouldn't this scandal, the crimes that were potentially committed by the people on that island, shouldn't that be bipartisan? Shouldn't we just like look past that, look past the politics for this one? That's my vote. If I could cast a vote, I'm shooting it right there into the bipartisan bucket. And everyone comes together to figure out what happened, figure out who's at fault, not at fault, to figure out who knows what and how deep and gross this thing actually goes, you know? Because look, CEOs and business owners need to lose their jobs, be boycotted, everything. Politicians need to lose their jobs, be barred from ever being able to hold any type of position of power ever again. Obviously, like there needs to be consequences for the things that happened. Okay. Have you seen the pictures of the things that were happening on the island or the things that were used to make things happen on the island? Disturbing, quite disturbing. And we shouldn't look past that just because we're living in a crazy time with a whole bunch of other crazy stuff happening. Yes, I know that ICE is arresting people out of their cars and 17-year-olds that are actually citizens and detaining them and stuff. I understand that. Yes, I understand that someone was just shot in the face by an ICE officer, a federal agent. I get it. A lot of crazy stuff happening right now. Yes, I understand that we're talking about bombing Iran. Yes, I understand that we just kidnapped the president/dictator of Venezuela. I get it. A lot of shit happening. But don't look past this because this is a big deal too. This entire scandal and everyone involved with it.
At the table, Bill Clinton, the former president, and the former First Lady and Secretary of State, also, in addition to that letter, sent declarations of what they do and do not know to the chairman. So much in this letter, because it's pretty long. You accepted the least from those who know the most, but demand the most from those who know the least. To say you can't complete your work without speaking to us is simply bizarre. And then, just as Annie was saying,
you know what, though? As weird of a quote that is, it kind of makes sense. And like, I don't know how much they're pressing other people involved in this scandal. Like, obviously, they're pressing Trump and Clinton hard because they're enormous public figures, and there's a political motivation behind it. But like, are we intentionally, and this is just a question, and if you know more about this, let me know, are we intentionally not pressing others as hard because they aren't as big of figures or they aren't involved in our lovely partisan landscape right now? I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I would like someone to answer that question for me. I don't know. I have a feeling that we're pressing everyone that's involved with it. It's just that the whole Bill Clinton thing is much more public, and they're probably being much more reserved about it. The Clintons and the Trumps, obviously, because they have a lot more, I guess, media attention on them. That's my guess, I guess. I don't know.
The rallying cry that they have written in this to Democrats and to Americans who they know want to see their leaders fight, they're clearly providing a roadmap and a place to rally behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting decision. We obviously saw when we did get some Epstein files last month, the White House, the Justice Department made very clear they want to focus on the Clintons. That was a big part of the first initial release. We can expect now the House to try and continue this moving forward. I think that was really the point of all of this.
Republicans on the House Oversight Committee point out that last year's vote to subpoena Clinton and his wife Hillary, the former Secretary of State, was bipartisan.
I mean, Ghislaine Maxwell's kind of cute, though. No? I mean, she's attractive. I can't deny that. Very attractive. I'm not quite sure who this lady is. That's not Hillary Clinton, is it? No way. She's probably with whoever this guy is. Look at this shirt. That's some 90s swag right there. Yeah. She's a baddie. Can't deny that.
So no one's accusing Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. We just have questions, and that's why the Democrats voted along with Republicans to subpoena Bill Clinton. This is the amount of preparation that went into this deposition today. These were the questions that we were prepared to ask. We've communicated with President Clinton's legal team for months now, giving them opportunity after opportunity.
Hillary Clinton's deposition is set for tomorrow, but she won't be appearing either. In a letter to Committee Chair Comer explaining their no-shows, the Clintons' lawyer says, quote, subpoenas themselves are nothing more than a ploy to attempt to embarrass political rivals, as President Trump has directed.
Hey, does anyone know to like what extent Hillary Clinton was involved in this, or is she just like involved in it as far as her husband was sticking his toes in some kitty litter? If you know, let me know, please, because I'm actually curious.
Let's turn now to CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig, a former federal prosecutor. All right, Ellie, the Clintons' argument here that the subpoenas are not related to a valid legislative purpose. What do you make of that?
Well, here's the problem, Brianna. The Clintons have taken a risk in the way they've gone about this. They could have gone to court weeks ago when they received these subpoenas and made precisely that argument. And maybe they will go to court in the future and maybe they will win. But as we sit here right now, what we have is a valid subpoena from Congress that says you are to appear on today's date. We have Bill Clinton no showing, and we do not have a court order saying this subpoena is invalid. Now, it seems what's going to happen from here, if Congress does pursue contempt, is Bill Clinton will then go into courts and challenge the subpoena. But by waiting to do that, he's taking the risk of being held in contempt first.
So they also say they're willing to certify their draft declarations. That is what the statement from the lawyer says. They say that there are other subpoenaed witnesses who have not had to appear in person. What do you make of that? I mean, are those witnesses facing different circumstances than the Clintons?
Yeah, all of those are fair points. And the Clintons' core argument is that this subpoena does not have a valid legislative purpose. Congress is saying, well, we need to hear from the Clintons because we're considering new legislation having to do with sex trafficking. And the Clintons are arguing that that's not a valid purpose. There's no connection between what the Clintons
Look, what's happening here, obviously, is that the right wants to embarrass the Clintons. Obviously, just make the Democrats look bad, clearly. I mean, we all understand that. The Clintons don't want to show up because, I mean, they would look bad no matter what. You go into one of those hearings and you know what happens. You get pressed in so many different ways. You get asked these questions that make you look terrible. So like, I get it from both sides. I get why they're trying to press the Clintons, and I get why the Clintons are bailing and just no showing and whatnot. But like, just such a gross situation. Like, shouldn't everyone just want to come together and just like weed out the nasty people? Like, if Bill Clinton was not involved, I mean, just like, how about you help out as much as possible? Help us out, brother. Tell us everything we need to know. Become the biggest rat in U.S. history. It would be like the one time like the rat would be truly loved and celebrated. Yeah, it'd be super sick. We'd all appreciate it.
Know about Jeffrey Epstein and some sort of future legislation. The point, though, is in the end, it's up to Congress how they want to treat witnesses. Sometimes, if you're a member of Congress, you accept written declarations. Sometimes you accept behind closed doors depositions, and sometimes you insist on public testimony. Congress really has the power there. So if Clinton's legal team is able to get together with Congress and work out some sort of mid-ground, some sort of agreement and arrangement, then they can go with that. But ultimately, the Clintons are not the ones in the power position here. Congress is the ones with the subpoena power, and Republicans control Congress. And as you noted earlier, this was a unanimous, not just bipartisan, but unanimous vote to subpoena the Clintons.
How cool would it be, too, if, like, everyone just started cooperating? Trump, the Clintons, everyone. Here's everything I know. Yeah, I'll come in. Question me. No, that won't happen. I don't even know why I'm saying that'd be cool. It wouldn't. The questions would be phrased in such weird ways that would make everyone look so guilty of terrible things. Yeah, now, you know what? I'm Team Clinton now. Don't take that the wrong way. Not like the things they did, but like, I fully understand why you wouldn't go in. Oh my God. Yeah, you would get put in such a weird box. Oh, you wouldn't be able to answer all these questions, and they'd ask super specific ones that would make you look terrible that you can't say, like, that you wouldn't be able to deny. Why do we elect these people? Oh my goodness.
So where does this go from here? If Congress can pursue a contempt of Congress proceeding here, what happens?
So Congress now has an important strategic decision to make. If they choose to go to contempt first, which seems like they're going to do, they do run the risk that the Clintons then go to court and get a ruling that the subpoenas were invalid. If that happens, it undercuts, probably ends any contempt. The other alternative is Congress can wait till this plays out in the court, and if Congress wins, if the subpoena is deemed to be valid and the Clintons still do not comply, then they can go seek contempt. But important to know, if and when Congress does issue contempt, the next step is the case then goes over to the Justice Department, which has the ability at that point to bring criminal contempt charges. That's been done in the last administration. We saw criminal contempt charges against Roger Stone and others.
And that's not what you want if you're the Clintons, just to clarify that one. That's not what you want.
Peter Navarro went to jail because of that. So that is an option. I know it's an extreme option, but the way this works is Congress finds in contempt first, then it gets referred over to DOJ, and it'll ultimately be Pam Bondi's call whether she wants to pursue criminal contempt if we get to that point.
It's important, Ellie, to note that authorities have not accused Bill Clinton of wrongdoing at this point, right? But as we saw the release of a lot of Epstein documents, we also saw photos, a lot of photos that included Bill Clinton, including some where he is in photos with a woman in at least two cases where their face is redacted, raising questions if he's in a photo with a woman who is a known or possible victim, right? And that sort of challenges, I think, what we knew, at least publicly, coming from
Why are they showing these pictures? Show the pictures that you're talking about.
his spokesperson. So what kind of information would members of Congress want to know from Bill Clinton with that in mind?
Well, I think that's precisely what's animating this dispute here. It is important to note there's a certain stigma to getting a subpoena. A subpoena does not necessarily mean anyone did anything wrong. Witnesses get subpoenas because they have relevant information. But let's be real. If Bill Clinton is to appear for a deposition, I promise you members of that committee, Republicans, are going to slide those very photos in front of Bill Clinton and demand specifics about.
Yeah, and that's why he's not gonna freaking show up. Like, there are pictures of him in like the freaking hot tub with potentially underage girls. And so, like, if he shows up, Congress, someone is just going to whip out Thomas Massey's just gonna like whip out that picture, be like, what was going on in your head right there? Like, were you attracted to this woman? How old specifically was this woman at the time of this picture? How did you know this woman? Had you ever spent alone time with this woman? Like, it's such a bad position to be in. So I get it why he's trying to do everything he can to not show up, pulling the whole no show. I feel you, bro. Like, I don't feel bad for you because like kick rocks if you were doing that nasty ass shit, but like, I feel you. Bro, I'm not gonna lie though, a hot tub right now sounds so good. Not with an underage girl, but like, I hate that I had to say that. A hot tub right now sounds so amazing. I don't know why I'm so cold today. I was just playing video games before recording this, and my hands were like frozen, so I couldn't click anything. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm shivering right now. I hope I'm not getting sick, but oh man, I would relax. I would fall asleep in a hot tub tonight. Damn, that sounds good. Yo, this is so random. I had so many friends that had hot tubs, like weird, random, small little hot tubs growing up in their backyards, like where they had no place being, but they were never open. It's a super random thought, but I'm just thinking about it. I had several friends that had hot tubs. Like even ones that lived in apartments, they had like freaking like crappy ass, ratty ass hot tubs, and that were just never opened. Like I think my best friend growing up, R.I.P. Eric, he had a hot tub, and I think I got in it one time. And I mean, I would spend literally, I lived with him for months and months and months. And I think we got in his hot tub one time the entire time we were friends. And we were friends from kindergarten all the way up until, until he passed a few years ago. And I think we got in his hot tub one single time, and it was senior year of high school. Pierre, hope you're resting well, brother.
What he was doing there, who else is in those photos.
Also, I hate that I just like brought him up during this video. I'm sorry, man. You deserve to be brought up during a different video, and I will bring you up during a different video, brother. I promise you.
Why he was there. So I don't think the Clintons are under any illusion that that's not going to happen. And I would speculate that that's exactly why they're fighting against this so far. If they were just bystanders on the corner and witnessed a traffic accident, I don't think they would have any resistance to going in and testifying. But this is going to be ugly politically for Bill Clinton any way you slice it.
Ultimately,
not just politically, but just entirely. Just as a human, it's going to be ugly. I don't care if you've been involved in politics or not. Like just like having to testify and having people put those pictures in front of your face and ask questions, specifics about those pictures. Yeah, that's a bad look. That's going to get ugly.
Do you think he'll have to answer those questions?
I mean, it could be that he is compelled by the courts. The courts could say this is a valid subpoena. If that happens, then yes, Bill Clinton will have to answer questions. Again, his lawyers are going to push for some sort of arrangement involving written answers or closed door testimony, but ultimately the courts will resolve.
Okay, I want to see Bill Clinton answer some questions. That would be crazy. Imagine him having to answer specific questions on the pictures of him with Epstein, with women on Epstein Island, but not just Clinton, everyone. I think everyone involved should have to go in there and answer questions. If they're pictured, they should have to answer questions about what they remember about that picture, what was happening, what brought them there, what was happening after, who the people were, and maybe they don't want all that released, but you get what I'm saying. Right? I don't really care if it gets ugly. If you like are put in a bad position, it looks ugly politically or for your brand. No, if you were doing nefarious things on an island, kick rocks, bro, and answer some questions. Hey, by the way, I'm about to start streaming this week, maybe even tomorrow. So like I'll be able to watch all these videos and like have you interact with me via the chat, contribute to all of this. I can talk to you. It's gonna be so much more fun, so much more interactive, so much better. Can't wait. So once I know more, once I start doing it, I'll post like specific times and everything like that in upcoming videos. I just can't wait to be able to talk to y'all in them. Have a great day.